The views, opinions, and conclusions expressed in the following program are those of the host, guests, and/or callers, and not those of rel-mar McConnell Media Company, our corporate divisions or entities, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, Simul Radio, Simul TV, our staff, management, advertisers, broadcast affiliates, and affiliated broadcast networks. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And if you'd like to find out about the programming we're on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. Wow, my first guest tonight is a gentleman we've had on the show a couple of times in the past week. Robert Kiviat is his name, and this is from Wikipedia. This will tell you all about Robert. Robert Kiviat is a television writer and producer specializing in paranormal phenomenon. He has produced 11 specials for 20th Century Fox television, most notably Alien Autopsy. Robert has also appeared as a guest expert on numerous television news shows such as MSNBC's Countdown with Keith Olbermann and other popular shows, including Entertainment Tonight on a number of Time Access, Hollywood, and of course CNN's Showbiz Tonight. Originally from New York, Robert Kiviat relocated to Hollywood after producing mystery segments for Geraldo Rivera's TV news magazine, Now It Can Be Told, and after writing a cover article for Omni magazine about the mysterious structures known as the Face on Mars, a mile-wide mesa photographed by NASA. Robert was soon asked to join NBC's Unsolved Mysteries. Soon the Fox network brought Robert in for a phenomena-based show called Encounters, and shortly thereafter Robert secured exclusive rights to the footage that was the basis for his first TV special, Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction. Joining me now is Robert Kiviat, and Robert, welcome back to the show.
Great to be back, Rob.
You have some exciting news tonight, and I'd like you to tell our listeners what this exciting news is and how significant this is to your fight to end government UFO secrecy.
Well, I appreciate you reading my Wikipedia page. It's sort of a general view of my career, but I will say this. This is a culmination of not only the specials I did for the Fox network, work I did at Unsolved Mysteries on NBC, and the most recent show I did for Sci-Fi NBC, Aliens on the Moon, The Truth Exposed, which was a 2014 premiere, but then it appeared on everywhere, Netflix, Discovery.
Yeah.
Now it actually exists on Amazon Prime. What my point is that it's a culmination of a producer, journalist, writer, whatever, trying to get to the bottom of the UFO mystery. I have done many other stories of all kinds on television, especially at Unsolved Mysteries and even other shows where the concepts were mystery of all kinds, whether it be murder, whether it be missing people, whether it be anything along the lines of non-phenomena, but also phenomena. And phenomena, to me, always has the cross point of UFOs. Are we alone? Is the government keeping it from us? So the way things went was the UFO field is immersed in the aerospace field. Aerospace and UFOs have been intricately linked from the beginning of the modern UFO era. In 1947, when the alleged Roswell crash happened and the UFO flap occurred, it was a big, big period of our technology. We had just, shown the world that we had these nuclear weapons. We ended the war summarily against Japan there was no choice for them but to surrender. And technology had become the biggest thing. And so then the aerospace world, the idea of what kind of missile delivery systems would we be using with those weapons, and also just the fact that weapons of the nuclear kind came from Roswell. People need to know Roswell was where our 509th bomb wing was really stationed that dropped the bombs on Japan. So when you throw that all together, the UFO field and aerospace and the idea of our technology was always linked. And then as the years went on, as I've indicated in a story that I think I'll be doing a lot more in the next couple of days on TV programs and even your show tonight, one of the guys interviewed in my program on UFOs, the best evidence ever caught on tape. It's one of my Fox specials. It still exists today on Netflix. You can watch tonight. Admiral Bobby Ray Inman, the former director of the National Security Agency, deputy director of the CIA. This is one of the most influential, intelligence people our world has ever seen. We were able to get him to come on the show several years ago and talk about the best UFO videos that existed. And we showed him the best, and he really was confused. I've never seen these before. These intrigued me. And shortly after that, and he did indicate he figured because a lot of the videos we were showing were UFOs over Gulf Breeze, Florida, UFOs over Area 51. He made the natural connection that they must be military because they're near military installations. But that's not the same thing as saying that by an everyday person. You're talking about the former head of the NSA, the former deputy director of the CIA. He was actually going to be the defense guy for Clinton, but he ended up passing. Now, the idea is, was he pulling our leg? Did he really know what these things were? Or did he just act baffled and really was baffled? Well, a couple of years later, I determined that he had gone into the private sector and was looking into anti-gravity research.
Right.
And that got me going. I said, wait a minute. So I decided that it would be something I'd want to pursue, that if there was aerospace companies developing technology by either studying UFOs, reverse engineering UFOs, or even just maybe UFOs were ours and they really were our technology, I wanted to know that. So I found an aerospace company that I was interested in. One thing led to another, and I could not get them to show me that they had any kind of funding or any kind of real technology under their belt. And in the course of dealing with that group, I heard about a guy named Joe Firmage. And Joe Firmage was literally a guy from the 1990s. He was a very, very powerful Silicon Valley upstart in the Internet business. He had a huge company called US Web. He was a very rich guy at a very young age. And he had an epiphany, apparently, back in the 90s when he was doing real great. Mm-hmm. He believed some being came and talked to him and gave him information or imparted information through some kind of a contact that he had. And he went out and he tried to use his money, millions of dollars, to get into anti-gravity research, UFO research. He wanted to really find out what the government knew. And apparently, from my research, I knew also he had also been taken in by some people at the CIA intelligence community to see what he knew and to see what he could do to help them. So when I heard that he had an aerospace company called Internasa, and he had people behind him that I truly respected, one of these people is a guy named Ron Pandolfi. And Ron Pandolfi is and has been the chief scientist at the CIA for about 40 years or more. And this became a very fascinating aspect of my research into this guy, Joe Firmage. I could not believe it. It was amazing to me that Ron Pandolfi, CIA scientist, was backing Joe's company. Joe made it very clear to me. Ron is behind this. Ron is working with us. Mm-hmm. And he asked me specifically not to speak to Ron. And he knew I may know Ron. Now, the reason why I could have called Ron is because one of the key people in my TV programs is Dr. Bruce Maccabee. And he is a top Navy optical physicist, great dear friend of the guy at JPL who really invented image processing, Dr. Robert Nathan. And these two guys, Dr. Robert Nathan at JPL and Dr. Maccabee at the Navy optical physics wing, really, these two guys became my mentors in television in every way. If I had a UFO video I was going to show the public, I would run it by them. If there was a really great video, the one in Carp, Ontario, Canada, known as the Guardian UFO event, I ran that by Bob Nathan and Bruce Maccabee the first thing before I ever took it to the TV executives to show them what I was working on. So when I asked Bruce Maccabee what he thought about Ron Pandolfi backing Joe Firmage, he was very intrigued. This goes back now, we're talking November, December of 2017. Everybody should remember who's into UFOs that was when the New York Times, well, first of all, it was when Tom DeLonge and this group, Hal Puthoff, Tom DeLonge, and a few other people were putting out the idea they were going to come up with a company called To the Stars Academy, and they were going to get secret tapes, some kind of tapes of UFOs. They were trying to, in every way, impart that idea to people. And I thought this interesting confluence of issues were coming together. And I said to myself, this is a great opportunity to jump in here and find out what's going on. And Joe Firmage offered me a job to run the studio.
All right, Bob, we're going to have to take a break here. Please stand by. Exonation Robert Kiviat is our guest. And if you'd like to read the entire press release that Robert issued last week, as well as how to get to his GoFundMe page, and we're also going to make the papers on the lawsuit available to one and all at cdnmediaservices.com. That's cdnmediaservices.com, and we'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Robert Kiviat is our special guest this hour, and if you'd like to find out all the information pertaining to the lawsuit, how you can visit his GoFundMe page, or if you'd like to get to see the documents that we're going to be talking about in a few minutes, go to cdnmediaservices.com. All right, Robert, continue your story, please.
Anyway, sorry for the full throttle story.
No problem.
But I want to make sure everybody understands.
Right.
It's very critical.
Mm-hmm.
So when Joe Firmage offered me the job, he said very clearly, I do not want you to call Ron. Mm-hmm. I know you can call him. I know you know him through Bruce, and you could easily contact him. I don't want you to do that. But I do want you to know that I'm very concerned with what's going on with this company called To the Stars Academy. What do you know about it? I said, well, what do you want to know? I've obviously researched it a lot. Mm-hmm. He said, well, do you think they have any technology? And I said, no, I don't think they have any technology. I think it's pretty clear. There's some kind of an entertainment group. They're acting as if they have potential abilities to raise money and then maybe make technology. But no, I don't think they have any technology to offer at all. They've not invented anything, nothing like that. He says, well, of course, I have. And I said, Joe, I know. You've created a device. You've worked on it for over a decade or more. You've gotten government help to make this. And I'm fascinated, so what would you like from me? He says, Robert, I would like you to build a studio that would bring all this information to the public. First starting out with news reports about what we're working on, leading up to some live demonstration that would be like an event where we would show the device operating for the first time. I said, okay, well, how would you like to start? He said, why don't you send me a 6-month plan of how you would roll out the technology, how you would show the public what we have. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you'll develop TV series and shows like you've done before. Obviously, you're great at that. He says, but overall, I'm going to need you for several things as we start. So why don't we begin on the first of the year, 2018, and I'll send you a contract, and your lawyer can look at it. And so we did that, negotiation. Mm-hmm. And during this time, just while the negotiations were getting down to the final round and I would sign the contract, the New York Times, the good old New York Times, I'm from New York, wrote this article about this. I will call it, they really wrote about the release of these videos. They did not give To the Stars Academy a very large play in the article, if anyone reads it. It was much more about this gentleman named Lou Elizondo, who was leaving the DOD, Department of Defense, and in tow, he was bringing these videos. essentially two videos. And these two videos did not look anything alike. They were posted on the New York Times website. They looked, for all intents and purposes, to be two distinctly different videos. But for whatever reason, in their, I would say, lack of knowledge of the beat of UFOs, Rob, and you are an expert, you can understand what I'm talking about, they did not know their material. They did not know their beat. So when they got these two videos handed to them by this Lou Elizondo, they sort of said, well, these must be all from the same event that he's talking about, which was the now famous 2004 Nimitz encounters off the coast of California, Mexico, whatever. And basically, not too far from San Diego. And basically these videos were a problem right away because you could tell they did not look right. One was a very kind of low-resolution image showing what appeared to be a very interesting video of a UFO either hovering or keeping pace with a plane or vice versa, of a Navy jet, and then all of a sudden it kind of darts off to the left in a very peculiar kind of stuttering manner, and that was interesting for sure. And then they have another video which did not look anything like it, and you can tell the technology was just a different time period completely, much more modern, a FLIR, thermal image, but not necessarily the same time period. So we looked into that very heavily, and I was telling Joe, look, if you want me to come aboard on your company, we've got to get into dealing with this To the Stars Academy crap, because whatever they're doing, Joe, it looks like a limited hangout. It looks like, and that's a term we can get into tonight a little, when the government releases some information, but then they kind of mix it up with a lot of kind of muddled, communication. And this clearly was the New York Times being used as some kind of like disinformation source. It didn't look right from the beginning. And lo and behold, Joe says to me, and what do you make of Hal Puthoff being in there? And I said, well, Joe, that's pretty bizarre, isn't it? Because didn't you start working on this device with Hal Puthoff back in 2009, 2010? Aren't there videos of Kit Green, the former head of the CIA's Weird Desk, and Hal giving you a testimonial back in 2009, 2010? He says, you have that right, Robert. I said, so what you're saying to me, Joe, is you think Hal stole your idea. At least he stole the idea of coming up with a concept like, we'll form a company and we'll talk about technology and we'll make an academy out of it. Now, remember the company Joe's hiring me for here, Rob, is called InterNASA. It stands for the International Academy of Science and Arts. And then there's Hal Puthoff's company with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 calling their company To the Stars Academy. Very suspicious. Hal Puthoff is quite a character, and I think the rest of the world is going to find out the next year or so what really is going on with Hal Puthoff, the CIA, this whole muddled business of getting UFO information out to the public in a very strange way. And I'll just summarize this by saying that when Joe hired me, he said, we want to make sure that we are the ones who are recognized as being this kind of academy. We have the actual technology. We're building something real. And that's why Ron feels, and he meant Ron Pandolfi,
right.
That's why Ron at the CIA feels I'm real and they're not. And I will say this, in my conversations with Ron and my emails with Ron over the last 3 months or so, Ron confirmed to me in every way that that's true. No matter what he says now, I have the emails and the calls to back that up. So all I'm going to say right now is that my lawsuit is a culmination of my entire work in the business. I'm able to dig now deeply, drill down deep into the government, the CIA, the limited hangout propensity to make these kind of strange missives to the public. And then, of course, I need to get paid. I have a bona fide employment contract that took me away from my regular TV business, what I normally do, to represent this company, these people, and I'm leaving out one guy, the investor in the company, Daniel Marriott, a former Utah congressman, who wanted a monopoly on this company.
Right.
And the way that he worked it was he would only put money in for the machine. He wouldn't put money in to cover my contract, knowing full well that my employment contract is a bona fide employment contract with all the rights and things that go along with that, and now in the state of California. So when they could not come up with a way to pay me the majority of my money, I have a very basic contract. It pays me a certain amount per week, per month. They have failed to pay me with the exception of $5,000, and I have 2 children to support. I've got, 2 kids going to college, $5,000 for over a year and 2 months of work. Marriott's attorneys, right back to my attorney 2 weeks ago, as one of the litigants, keep this in mind, he wrote that check to Robert Kiviat just to be nice. I am going to haul these people into court, Rob, and they're going to have to, under deposition, under the penalty of perjury, including Mr. Pandolfi, to explain everything they're doing with this company Internasa, the idea that UFOs are being talked about the way they are in relation to their machine, and also how it conflates to things like To the Stars Academy, Skinwalker Ranch, Bob Bigelow's $22 million that he got earmarked from his good old friend, Senator Harry Reid. This is going to be quite a story that's going to turn the UFO subject on its ear.
You know, Bob, I've been going over the your case here. By the way, Exonation, it's been filed in the Superior Court of the United States of Let me try this one again. Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Orange. It's case number 30-2019-010-05380-CU-CO-CJC. And it was electronically filed on the 26th of February, 2019 at 1:42:56 p.m. So this is a legitimate case number, and it's a legitimate case. But one thing I noticed, there's no mention of the CIA anywhere in this document.
Ron Pandolfi is mentioned as a CIA scientist in
Where?
the agreement. I call it the agreement. I'm so used to my TV work agreement.
Right.
In the lawsuit, he's a CIA scientist. It is not Ron Pandolfi working for the CIA. This is Ron Pandolfi, CIA scientist. We believe he's still a CIA scientist. When we filed the document, we had just heard Ron Pandolfi confirm to me in a phone call that he is still with the agency. So when you file a lawsuit that literally names a CIA scientist seeming to work within the confines of his job, I wonder if the CIA already has wind of this just by the simple filing.
Well,
and I wonder how it does affect him.
Okay, paragraph 87 in the suit says, prior to entering into the agreement, Firmage represented to the plaintiff that bona fide elements of the United States intelligence community were in support of Internasa's advanced physical and other research and development activities. Firmage made it abundantly clear that the references to the United States intelligence community were approved by Pandolfi.
Exactly. Not only that, we actually, my first day on the job was New Year's Eve.
Bob, I've got to take my break. Please stand by.
Sure.
All right, Exonation, Robert Kiviat is our guest, and if you'd like to find out more about this lawsuit, if you'd like to get a copy, if you'd like to go to Robert's GoFundMe platform, go to www.cdnmediaservices.com. I'm Rob McConnell. This is The X Zone. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by rel-mar, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to rel-marzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologist, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
The views, opinions, and conclusions expressed in the following program are those of the host, guests, and/or callers, and not those of rel-mar McConnell Media Company, our corporate divisions or entities, the X Zone Broadcast Network, Simul Radio, Simul TV, our staff, management, advertisers, broadcast affiliates, and affiliated broadcast networks. Exonation, I guess this hour is Robert Kiviat. And first of all, Robert, welcome back. Question for you. Are you there?
I am, yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. The complaint is for damages that has been filed, right. Yet on your GoFundMe page, it's help my lawsuit to end government UFO secrecy.
Oh, the conflation is basic. The entire case will look into who Joe Firmage is working with. What is Ron Pandolfi doing? What kind of operation was this? You have to understand, to be able to file a lawsuit like this and to be able to haul someone in like Ron Pandolfi, who is the keeper of the UFO secrets, according to almost everybody who's looked into this, from Assange at WikiLeaks to several other forerunners to him, there is no doubt about it. The only way you could possibly get these people into a courtroom, like a person like Pandolfi,
right,
is for him to operate as a pseudo-rogue individual on his own or working at the behest of the CIA, who has sort of walked into a dilemma where he's not exactly representing the CIA,
right,
but his overall activities are in the CIA and for the DIA or some other organization like that. And so it's a natural thing to have, the bottom line being, if you are going to have a guy like this in the courtroom, there's going to have to be another reason he's in there. It's got to be. The reason he's in there is he is the guy that Firmage had me put press releases out, LinkedIn releases that are still up for anyone to read, that the company is being launched in 2018 under the idea that the CIA and the intelligence community and Ron Pandolfi is behind the company. That's what the lawsuit's about, Rob. This is an operation either individually put out by Ron Pandolfi or the CIA was trying to create their own little offshoot kind of in competition to the Stars Academy, and that this is going to be a magical prism into all of this stuff.
But what happens?
It may not seem like that, but it's going to be that.
But what happens if Pandolfi proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was strictly on his own and had nothing to do with the intelligence community?
We can't wait to see if that's true.
All right.
For me to recover my it's a couple $100,000 here, Rob. This is a serious amount of money. If it turns out that he says, you know what, it was me on my own, and I'm not going to talk about my CIA background and whatever, it'll be very positive for my case.
How
if
so?
He says,
How so?
Because the idea is that there'll have to be some explaining to do about the fraudulent nature of him using the CIA background to bring credibility to the company, which would be fraud.
Well, wait a second here. Let me ask you this question. You, as a former producer for Fox TV, go to another network. They use the work that you've done as part of your CV. That's not a fraud.
Well, you can be, Rob, you're not a lawyer, so first of all, let's be clear about this. If my lawyer has filed this lawsuit...
No, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just asking logical questions here.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I want to correct you when you're wrong. The idea here is that he has come into the company, acted as the science advisor, claiming that the machine was being built, as Firmage was very much claiming every day, for a demonstration period that Ron would take to the elements like DARPA, to the elements in the military-industrial complex. Right. This is what the case will get into.
But
it may not appear that.
But isn't that done all? But isn't that done all the time by the different companies that supply the war machine to the government?
That's absurd. To say it's done all the time means.
Well, for example, the stuff. For example, the stuff
that.
that's supposed to be the stuff that's being done at Area 51 has nothing to do with extraterrestrials. It's a CIA testing area, a military testing area. That's being done. Boeing goes there, and all the other companies.
I'm not sure what you're saying. I want to make sure we're clear on this. My case is to bring these individuals into court to pay me for the work I did. And while they're doing that defense of that, which I'm sure they're going to defend, we've already got some feedback, we're going to take them right down the line. Are you working with the CIA? Are you the keeper of the UFO secrets? Was any of this technology gleaned from UFO research? All of that will be in my lawyer's opening statement to the jury. Okay. And this individual, Ron Pandolfi, is a very good patriot to our country. I want people to know this. Ron has done some very good work in our country, protecting us from things like China, working with used aircraft, maybe learning certain things about ICBM technology that they should not be learning, or ways to launch missiles and whatnot. So all I'm going to say is that I respect Ron, but when it comes right down to it, it's a wonderful opportunity, as Cal has covered very much, I think, very well, by the way. And I think at Cal, we can lean a little bit on Cal Korff here. He sees the conflation of these issues very well, and I think they're valid, and that's where we are right now. And I think it'll be interesting to see if a jury or a defending attorney takes the position you're taking, which is totally fine, that there's no reason to talk about the UFO secrets or anything else, except for the guy being sued is the guy who's keeping those secrets. So we'll see if that becomes something that is difficult to shake.
I'm having a problem here understanding how a lawsuit for damages can be thought of as tumbling down the UFO world. I'm having a problem with this.
I think you're not getting when you read the brief clearly, you will see that the idea of conflating, and on their end, that the CIA was behind the technology. And Joe Firmage is known to be a UFO researcher before anything else, before he got back into this whole thing, working with the auspices of the government. The overlapping nature of the entire thing being the device itself, the technology that's being gleaned, and how it's being allegedly promoted to investors and the world, as my job was, opens up that entire door.
But doesn't
again, I'm not quite sure why you're not seeing that. But
doesn't that
you cannot see that?
The fact that you were doing that, doesn't that make you complicit?
No, because my job was to tell the story of the company and what it was to the media, I spoke to two major networks in major offices in both the New York and Los Angeles about this company, about Ron Pandolfi being the keeper of the UFO secrets. Ron was going to make it possible for me to tell the story from a position of doing a TV series with the tutelage and knowledge and support of the CIA. And I have those documents to show things in court. So I think what you're trying to do, Rob, with all due respect, is You're trying to kind of prosecute the case and find me in some way disingenuous.
No, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to do, pardon? Hello?
It doesn't make any sense at all what you're saying, because I believe there are people that have vetted my case already very heavily who understand this from a very, very strong.
Well, you know what, Robert? You know what the problem is here? The people listening don't understand, and I'm asking these questions for my listeners. This is what I'm doing.
I don't think you're asking the question the way I would, so I'll try to help you express it better. The question really is, no one's been able to get this guy. It just so happens because of a lack of organization or a lack of honesty or a lack of whatever was going on in the company, they opened themselves up to a civil lawsuit for damages of an employment contract. But it's not the first time in this history, and I'm sure you know, you're very, very smart. It's not the first time that a lawsuit is issued, and it opens up a whole litany of other things that may not have been the main focus of the actual case, but it opens up a can of worms that nobody wants to open.
Sounds
and
like
this is exactly that.
Sounds like what the U.S. government tried to do with Special Counsel Mueller with the Trump organization.
I'm not. A very good point. And I'm not going to say that's a direct connection, but I understand that when you read the brief, and I could totally understand any confusion by reading the very, very recently filed brief about why one might say, well, it's mostly about you getting back for damages. You're right. But the damages and the pursuit of the damages, Rob, give me the ability now to open up many windows and many things in the course of discovery and the course of vetting the case.
All right, let me ask.
You would never be able to bring in.
All right, let me ask you this. By opening this can of worms, do you intend on benefiting from it?
Oh, well, first of all, I want to make sure I get paid by money, number one. I got to be paid. I got 2 children to support. I worked for over a year with these people. I took my entire career down this path, and I got screwed, number one. Number two, I plan on using it to get to the truth in the best possible way I can. I'm the only known person. If you show me another one, I'll be glad to accept it. But show me another person that found the ability to, one, dig deeply into the UFO mystery for viewers of the millions all over the world, to then take that experience, take it to a company like this, try his best to keep the thing on a level playing field, literally do his job, create TV, public relations, news stories, and before that, press releases about the company, totally about the CIA connection, totally about the intelligence community connection, and then got screwed, but then said, you know what? It's a good chance to get into all this at the same time. So I think that it's very clear, and if your listeners are not very clear, they can call me. I'm not at all embarrassed to talk about the GoFund account. The GoFunding campaign is allowing me to
hold on here. We've got to take our final break. We'll be back on the other side. X-Zone Nation, if you'd like more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show, visit our site at www.xzbn.net. And for the current edition of the X Chronicles newspaper, thank you, Craig. Visit www.xchroniclesnewspaper.com. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. Robert Kiviat and I will be back as we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by rel-mar, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
And welcome back, everyone. Before we get back to Robert Kiviat, our guest this hour, I'd just like to talk to you a little bit about the X Zone directory of Who's Who that's available online and in print at www.xzdww.net. Today we're featuring Dr. Carl O'Helvey, who is in Virginia in the United States. And let me see. His career is over 60 years, experience in all aspects of nursing and noteworthy. One, developed the new Helvey energy theory of nursing and health. He obtained federal grants, funding, and established and administered the ODU Nursing Center, providing primary care for homeless and low-income clients. Number 3, over his careers worked with thousands of clients and taught around 4,000 undergraduate students, and currently reaching 85,000 people monthly on websites with holistic health information on natural solutions for health problems. He has 4 degrees, a BS, MS, MPH, and a Doctor of Philosophy. Let me see. He was in the military reserves for 10 years. He's affiliated with the American Public Health Association, and over 200 radio interviews. And all this information and plus more, and how to contact Dr. Carl Helvey, is available to anyone who goes to www.xzonedirectory.com/SINDEX.html. Now, if you'd like to get yourself registered on the X Zone directory of Who's Who, and that's where a number of radio producers, talk show hosts, reporters, editors, they all go to this site because they know that this is where the cream of the crop of the paranormal world, as well as metaphysics, New Age, are listed. Once again, the website is www.xzdww.net. That is to register, to get all the information on how you can be placed in the 2019 directory, online, as well as the print edition. All right, Robert Kiviat's here. And Robert, before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about your GoFundMe campaign.
Yeah, I don't mind the conflict, Rob. I think I'm hearing between us right now.
No conflict.
I think there's let me try to touch on it, because if I'm wrong, you'll correct me, and
Sure.
I appreciate that. You know how much I respect your thoughts. You know that. There is a problem in this society when people say, you know what, I've taken my life down this road.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself in this quandary now that I've taken a year out of my financial life. I've been hurt miserably by these people.
Yeah.
And what happens is Ron Pandolfi has a very close relationship with Hal Puthoff. And Hal Puthoff has been doing what's called techno scams for many years, according to Ron himself. And what I'm saying is these scams seem to involve building all kinds of excitement around technology, and it might be tied to UFOs and zero-point energy. In fact, my lawyer sent me something just today about this issue because he knows how much this is going to come up in our court case. Imagine our case is looking at the idea that this company, To the Stars Academy, that came out before us, kind of stole some of the ideas that Joe had and Ron had and all that, and Hal decided to run with it before they could. And all of a sudden, Pandolfi realized, wait a second, we want to get back in the game here and beat them to the punch. And it was telling Furmish to look out for getting the right kind of studio guy, a guy like me from the studio. And I come in and I'm kind of like the innocent guy roped in. And this is something that will come up in our lawsuit. It's called a fly trap. And the CIA has been known to do these kind of things, especially in the UFO community, where they pull people together and waste their time, take advantage of them, and all of that. And this could very well be something like that. So when we talk about damages, we're talking about damages financial that also in many ways tie into the UFO cover-up kind of techniques. So I don't want anyone to be confused. This is directly a lawsuit to both get paid for the work I've done, be compensated fairly, but also keep the CIA and the people like that and the U.S. intelligence community honest when it comes to the UFO field. I'm out there protecting the future of every UFO researcher, producer, writer, name that person, who gets pulled into these fly traps over the years, and we will be documenting case by case that came before mine where they're not for legal cases, but instances where these fly traps have been done. So just because you read the brief, with all due respect, and we read it very briefly, no pun intended, if you read between the lines, it's very clear. My lawyer will be getting into all the aspects that surround Ron Pandolfi. And all you got to do is look up the internet, Ron Pandolfi, and you will see the entire background he's got, which a lot of it's very, very good. It's very, very important for our country. But a lot of it has to do with this idea of the limited hangout, mixing fact and fiction, pulling people in. And by the way, I'm known for exposing fact or fiction. So that's my thing. So the fact they got this guy, me, involved and didn't compensate me properly, kept things a little bit away from me in terms of the truth of things, wasn't the brightest thing in the world to do.
Let me ask you this question, Robert. I'm sure a number of listeners are asking this themselves. If you weren't getting paid, why did you continue the work?
Because the mission was to stay on this for the UFO community, for me, for all the work I've done. It wasn't just for the money, Rob. This was a golden opportunity to look in from the inside of what was going on with this entire, disclosure that we're seeing. This very strange release of these videos that the New York Times wrote about, and one more came out afterwards through To the Stars Academy, which did not come from the Department of Defense. The DOD did not release these videos. So where'd they come from? Lou Elizondo's glove box in his car? No one seems to know exactly where they came from. When you probe and try to find out, the provenance is sort of like muddled. We're going to be getting into all of that in the case, and the connection between To the Stars Academy, Skinwalker Ranch. Oh, yes, because guess what? The guy who bought Skinwalker Ranch from Bob Bigelow was Joe Firmage's former partner on the early round of the development of the device with Hal Puthoff. So you have this complete triangle going on between To the Stars Academy, Internasa that I work for with Pandolfi and Firmage, and this other group. So it's a fascinating story. No matter what happens, I think people should be focused on this case.
What happens if, and I'm sure this will be talked about in your trial, what happens if, in fact, there is no device?
Oh, there's a device, Rob.
But what happens if it's...
What?
Are they going to have to produce this device in court?
Oh, absolutely. The device will be part of the show, part of the court case. Joe has it on video.
Right.
It's existing right now. Ron Pandolfi and his wife have done, well, his wife mainly, have done these kind of like go-to meetings on YouTube where literally they hold like whole court, so to speak. They have people come, call in, ask about Joe's device, ask about Joe's work. Ron's been doing public relations from his house for this company.
Hey, listen,
crazy.
Before we go away, I've only got a couple of minutes left with you. Tell us about your GoFundMe campaign.
Okay, the campaign itself, and the number is a very arbitrary one, so people should not be taken aback by that. We're looking for the funding to support my law case, to be able to have the depositions, to be able to have the discovery process. It's very expensive. Most people say that if you want to recover a couple $100,000, you're going to have to pay a couple $100,000. So I don't think I'll be getting any kind of big bonus out of this whole thing. I know, I'm happy you're laughing because I know there were some tough questions, and you had to ask them today. I understand that. Anytime money's involved, people have to know it's not a scam. No one's doing anything weird. I'm doing this like a champion for people, and the more they look into this, they'll realize I'm a martyr for
Here's another question. Here's another question for you, Robert. You know, you see yourself as a champion. You see yourself as a martyr, but who else will?
Oh, I hope everyone else will, and when they dig into them. By the way, my shows themselves should speak to the level of my tenacity of trying to get to the bottom of it. All one has to do is go to the one show mentioned on my GoFundMe page, UFOs, the best evidence ever caught on tape, or Aliens on the Moon, The Truth Exposed, done for Sci-Fi NBC a couple of years ago, where I brought Buzz Aldrin in and literally grilled him about what looks like to be photographs shot by the Apollo astronauts, which show gigantic structures on the moon before we ever got there. And though Buzz would not speak specifically about those pictures, which was amazing to me, NASA kind of, I think, warned him not to, he wanted to talk about this monolith on the Phobos moon around Mars. So I'm always trying to crack the egg on this, Rob. And if you could show me someone who's more of a martyr, because I don't get paid the Spielberg money, come on.
Wasn't the alien autopsy film footage proven to be a hoax?
The alien autopsy is a wonderful thing. It's a great story in terms of what the public would do if we ever showed a potential alien on film. To this day, there are mysteries about the actual creation of the video, the film. Lately, we believe at Fox, we did a show, World's Greatest Hoaxes, Secret Trial Revealed, that even Cal was in, that we believe we exposed our own film for the problems that were in the actual film itself. But even to this day, one of the top newspapers in the country, the Los Angeles Times, I believe, they even said a couple of years ago, it's still a mystery because Ray Santilli says there's real evidence, real frames mixed into a reconstruction film. So it's a very messy affair, but I will say this, I'm not embarrassed by the story. And for all intents and purposes, it was the most compelling example of what will happen.
All right, Rob, we've got to say so long for tonight. I want to thank you for joining us. And X-Zone Nation, if you'd like to find out more information, go to cdnmediaservices.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away. If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by rel-mar, UFO Disclosure, The 70-Year Cover-Up Exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to rel-marzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.